Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, everybody. It is what is this, Wednesday? It is Wednesday. It's Wednesday, October the 19th. Welcome. It is 34 degrees outside my door. Talk about embracing the suck, man. It is cold and I am not ready. So, good morning, Vanessa. Good morning, Anna. Hope you guys are good. Good morning, everybody. Jump on in here. Like you guys know the drill, man. If you're here, if you're up with us this morning, and you're on the call, please let me know you're here. Good morning, Anthony. Hope you are good. Hadn't seen you in a while, buddy. Hope you're good. Um, y'all know the deal. When you're up with us this morning early, just let us know that you're here. A little good morning, and I'll let you know if your name didn't appear. If you hear me call out your name, then you know your name has appeared. But if I call you a Facebook user, then you know your name hasn't appeared. But man, we are here. It is the middle of October. Can you believe it? We'll be seeing Christmas carols here before you know it. Good morning, Melanie. As you can see that I have a pile of towels in the chair over there. I didn't know those were there, that you could be able to see those. I'm sure Christy is not going to be happy about the pile of towels being in my shot. But hey, it is what it is. It's real life, man. When you get home from Georgia after being in Georgia for 8 days, or however many days it was. Good morning, Carrie Leland. Good morning, Kristen. You come home to sometimes towels in the chair. So I meant to fold those last night, but I didn't feel like it. Oh well, we will keep on rocking. Hey, it is Wednesday. As you can see behind me, the environment has changed. So I am back in Tennessee, and we are looking forward to a weekend. When I say we, me and Jagger, we've got a hockey weekend in Detroit, Michigan. It's my first visit to Detroit, so hopefully we all come back in one piece. I'm sure we will. So looking forward to that. A little exciting trip. I've never been to. I don't think I've ever been to Detroit. I've certainly never been to Michigan, if I'm being honest. So that'll be cool. That'll be cool. I think um, one of the dads used to work at the old Joe Louis Arena. He worked for the Red Wings for a period of time, so he got the boys a trip to tour the new Little Caesars Arena. So they're going to get a backstage, back scene, behind the curtain tour of Joe Louis Arena, where the I guess the Red Wings play, and I don't know if their basketball team plays there or not, but that'll be super cool. So the boys are looking forward to that. So tomorrow morning there will not be a call because Jagger and I have got to be on an airplane at 6:14. So unless Christy gets up and does a call with you guys in the morning, there won't be a call. So I'll let her make the call on that for you. But this morning, man, let's just get rocking. And it's like I said, this is an early morning, a Tennessee morning. They're usually mornings that I've got to get off early to get going. So hope everybody is rocking. I hope everybody is has had a good week thus far. Um, Anything anybody wants to talk about this morning? Anybody have anything they want to share? It was good to see Lynn on here yesterday. We hadn't seen Lynn in a minute. I know Lynn, y'all be lifting Lynn up. She's going through some stuff. The Moe's words, Yellowstone Moe's words, ring true, man. They just ring true. For every good thing that's trying to happen, there's something bad trying to stop it. And I guess no truer words have been spoken. I mean, it is very, very, that's one thing that you can count on, is that when you are getting close to the breakthrough, that's when it's the most painful. When you're getting close to transitioning to that next spot, or y'all have heard that analogy when Christy and I first, my first, I guess one of my first trips to Covington, we had gone to talk to an owner in Covington. We were kicking around some ideas, so we went and met with a guy. And when we left that meeting, the meeting was so. It was a meeting, but when we left, on the left side of that building, there are some octagon shaped cobblestones that sort of fit in place, and they're all just perfectly placed where it almost looks like the path. It looks like one rock, then the next rock, and the next rock, and when that next block is about to get laid down, and for you to take your next step on your journey, when that next lily pad is about to float in for you to jump on to take the next step, it seems like that's when it's the hardest to find it. It seems like that's when it's the hardest. It's harder to take that next step the closer you get to making that transition. It feels like the closer you get to, I said it a couple of days ago. Pain is just that fear, and that pain and that hurt, and all the things associated with fear. That thing gets the loudest. That voice gets the loudest. And it was said that it's the alarm clock, or it's the alarm that you're getting close to your dream. It's the fear, that voice, that loud noise, that banging gong, all that stuff in your head. That's an indication that you're getting super close to the next step. That next block is about to get laid down. That next step is about to be taken. And so, what do you do when you want to quit? What do you do when you want to quit? What do you do when you want to stop? What do you do when you don't want to take that next step? What do you do when things get the hardest? When like Coach Burt says, I don't feel my way into acting. I act my way into feelings. What do you do, y'all, when when that next step, when you just don't want to take it? Carrie said I cry. Sometimes crying works. Um, Morning, Jenny Martin. Hey, hey. Jenny Martin's about to live the life, y'all. She's about to live that Tennessee, Georgia life. So, good morning, Jenny Martin. So the question, Jenny, that I was asking, I don't know if you heard this. What do you do when you feel like quitting? And I'm not saying, and I've got a little sign in my bathroom, in Hartwell that says "Never, never, never, never give up," and it's for Winston Churchill. But what do you do when you feel like quitting? What do you determine? How do you determine? Because I'm not saying that there aren't some things that you need to quit. I'm not saying there aren't some things that maybe you need to pair off, because some of us get too busy. Some of us get too deep. We do too much. Some of us, we good morning, Connie. Hey, hey. Um, Connie and I had this conversation not too long ago. When those emotions stir up, and and you don't feel like you can go any further, you don't feel like you can take that next step. You maybe you even see the step. Sometimes you don't see the step. Sometimes you don't see the lily pad. Sometimes you're just sitting there, and you know that you're supposed to take a next step, and you don't see the next step. And sometimes this life requires us to take the next step in faith. That's the crappy part about that's the hard part about this walk from being average to being world class. That's part of the difficulty in this journey. And and you're very welcome, Connie. That's the hard part about this life, y'all. The hard part about this life and doing what we do is faith. Is is having the faith to sit down in that chair with all your might, knowing that it's not going to break. It's having the belief and knowing I'm going to take the next step into the unknown, and just trust and believe that everything's going to be taken care of. So what do you do when your faith is a little low? when the tank's running on empty? What do you do when you feel like your only next option is to throw your hands up and quit? What do we do? So Jenny said push harder. And Jenny's a worker, y'all. So Jenny Martin, when she says push harder, she's a worker. I'm a push harder kind of guy. I don't like giving up. It takes a lot for me to give up. And some of that probably is my Irish nature. I remember a line from, I think it was in The Departed. It was something about the Irish, and the Irish, they'll keep doing stuff even though it's bad for them, they'll keep doing it. Just hard-headed and stubborn. So sometimes you just have to be hard-headed and stubborn, you gotta keep digging, and you gotta keep pushing because, there's also that story that you're 3 feet from gold. There's probably untold stories, there's probably untold endings to millions of stories where people got super, super close, didn't finish, they gave up, they quit too soon. They stopped when it got hard. They gave up when they shouldn't have given up. And that dream dies with that decision. The beautiful outcome dies with that decision. So what do you do? What do you do when you want to quit? What do you do when you want to stop? Man, I wish I could tell you that it was all sunshine and roses, but I promise you, I am walking around sitting here this morning telling you it ain't all sunshine and roses. This life can be hard. This life can punch you in the gut. This thing can drag us down. That's why we need a community like Exit Really Lake Country. That's why you need a community like some of y'all's text messages and some of these and sorry, Connie, we can't get you that text message yet. Maybe if I get out of the text message group, you can get in it. Um, we got to find a way to have a bigger text message so that everybody's included, that we're not limited to like 20 or 25. But that's why it's so important for Carrie and Anna and Kristen and Melanie and mentors and mentees and Connie and Christy and all these people to have other people that you can talk to, that you can bounce off ideas off of, because guess what? We will believe every word we say. We will believe every thought we've had. I remember this from years and years and years ago, being told in sales training. People believe everything they think and nothing you say. So when you're in that situation, your thoughts have to be different, and sometimes it takes other people's input from outside your circle, other than this little dude over here that's screaming and Michelle, are you on here this morning? I don't see anybody with little bitty kids. That's screaming and bitching at you, trying to make you do something that you don't want to do, or trying to make you stop when it gets too hard, or trying to tell you that nobody cares, or trying to tell you that you're all alone, or trying to tell you that that this thing isn't working because it hadn't been working, and all this stuff. Sometimes Steve Morris says this really, really well. You just got to try. You got to maneuver. You got to pivot. You've got to adjust, but you got to keep trying. It's not how many times you get knocked down, y'all. It's how many times we get back up. It's how many times we can get back up after we've been knocked down. Because we're all going to get knocked down. That's why this community is so important. That's why this culture is so important. That's why Exit Realty Lake Country as a company is so important. That's why we have to get this message out to more and more and more and more people. Because this message that we're telling is not unlike a message that you would hear at other places where people lift each other up. It's not like unlike messages that you would hear in a group or in some kind of a team or something where everybody's driving to sharpen each other. Everybody's driving to help each other be better. It's the same message. Exit Realty Lake Country's message is y'all got a spark. You got something freaking special inside you that you've got to unleash on the world, because the people around you need to see your world class. The people around you need to see you shine. The people around you need to see your diamond. The people around you need to see that fantastic piece of who you are. Good morning, Brooke. That's why it's not because we sell real estate. It's not because we help people find houses. It's not because you can make a poop ton of money selling real estate. All of that's fantastic, but that's not the reason we exist. The challenge for Aaron and Christy is how do we spread our message bigger? How do we spread our net wider? How do we make this be how do we reach more people? Y'all do a fantastic job with sponsoring. You do a fantastic job with introducing new agents to us and bringing new agents around. There are things that are happening, just a one-off here or a one-off there that are some encouragements that the message that you guys are spreading are reaching people that Aaron and Christy can't reach. But how do we get this message bigger? How do we help more people know how to keep going? How do we help more people know that when you feel like quitting, you just keep pushing? Because what's crazy is we live in a world of average. We live in a world of everybody being average. We see all the excellence up here through social media and fake book and all that. We see all the highlight reels of people's lives and we see all these wonderful things that they put out there that everything's perfect and look at us, we're so fantastic and our family gets along so well all the time and we never yell at each other and we're always happy and everything that we do turns to gold and everything's fantastic up here. We see on media and Netflix all these lives that are fantastic and wonderful and all these things. But I told the story the other day, y'all. Nobody pays attention to the story of the kid born with a silver spoon in his mouth who walks through his life never having to endure anything and grows up never having any challenges and gets richer when he gets older. Nobody pays attention to that story. That story doesn't sell in Hollywood. They don't make movies about stories like that. The stories they make movies of, the stories that they pay attention to, the stories that drive people billions and billions of dollars are the stories where the guy's sleeping in a bathroom in a subway with his kid because he's homeless. The story of the unknown in the middle of nowhere who's tasked with something that he can't handle, who has to endure pain and conflict and struggle to go be something special, to go vanquish the enemy, to go be celebrated by everybody who comes from rags to riches. That's the story everybody wants to hear. So think about your life in relation to that story. When it feels like you want to quit, when you're Luke Skywalker and you can't handle a lightsaber, when you're Luke Skywalker and you get beat up or you're the dude in the subway bathroom and with your kid, do you give up right there? Do you tell your kid, you know what, we probably ought to just die right here. We probably just give up right here. This life isn't for us. Lynn talks to people every single week. She's having conversations with people who are in that subway bathroom when the night is dark. They don't see the dawn coming, and they're literally dealing with, "I don't want to wake up in the morning," and that's pretty heavy. But that's what she has to deal with. So Lynn has y'all pray for Lynn. Lynn's been going through a lot of stuff here lately. So if you got some positive energy to send Lynn, because that stuff will pile on you. That stuff will pile on you and weight you down. Over the last 2, 3, 4 months, Christy and I have been dealing with a lot of stuff that's piling on, that's starting to weigh us down. Lift us up, send us some energy. There's some things coming at us that are starting to weigh us down. But that's the beautiful part of the story. Everybody's pulling for the underdog. Everybody's pulling for that guy. Everybody's pulling for the person going through all the pain and struggle and suffering. They're pulling for them. They're pulling for Rudy. Why is Rudy such a great movie? If Rudy was born 6'7", 300 pounds, if Rudy was a freak athlete, five-star athlete, there would be no story. There would be no Rudy. Nobody would be chanting Rudy at the end of the movie if Rudy was 6'7", 280, and ran a 4.240. Nobody would be cheering for Rudy. They might be, but it wouldn't be the story that it is when Rudy Rudiger, who's as tall as Jagger, decides he's going to play football at one of the most prestigious universities in the country, and He gets beat up every day. He goes to practice. He gets beat up every day. He's told his dad, I'm going to play for Notre Dame, Dad. I'm going to make you proud. And he finally gets on the field and he makes a tackle, and the whole place erupts because the dude made a tackle. There have been hundreds of tackles in that game to that point. They didn't carry anybody off the field for making one tackle. They carried Rudy Rudiger off the field for making one tackle. True story. Why is that story so special? Can you, how do you keep going when you want to quit? How do you keep getting up and going to practice knowing that these dudes who are 2 feet taller than you, are going to be beating you down for the next 2 hours? How do you keep getting up and going to practice? How do you keep getting up every single day when Kristen Ritchie, you just had this happen to you the other day where a friend listed their house with somebody else. We've had a lot of stories here, y'all, where the things don't go our ways when we've been trying and pushing, planting seeds, making the calls, feel like we're doing well, feel like we're getting it, feel like we're doing okay, feel like we're making some progress, just to have nothing happen. Anthony said, remember your why. Why do you get up and do it? Why did Rudy Rudiger get up and do it every single day? Because he had told his dad, I'm going to play for Notre Dame. And he had decided, if they kill me, if I die on the practice field, it's okay. But I'm going to play for Notre Dame. When you get to the point where you'll keep going or you'll die trying, nobody can stop you. See, there's a piece in Pray Drive that doesn't get mentioned, and that's probably because it's a little heavy, and Coach Burt tries to keep it really, really good. The reason Pray Drive works so well, and the reason Pray Drive for some people go get after it. Stetson Bennett, great. That's a great story. Stetson Bennett's another great story. Till he gets beat by UT. Whoops. Sorry, y'all. Love y'all. Love you, UGA. Sorry, completely lost my train of thought. I got sidetracked by the UGA UT thing that I'm still looking forward to the next couple of weeks. What was I saying, y'all? I completely lost my train of thought. Oh, the part about Pray Drive that Coach Burt doesn't talk about, and the part of the Pray Drive, I did, and only because I was going to keep it under wraps, but Jagger started talking about it yesterday in the car, and when he got in the car yesterday, we were headed to the ring for practice, and he goes, Dad, he goes, UT UGA is going to be such a great game. He goes, I really hope UT wins, but because Jagger, I'm not gonna say he's a front runner, but he's kind of a front runner. You know, he's kind of a bandwagon dude. But he's 10, so you gotta cut him some slack for that. But he's sort of adopted Georgia as his obviously his he's got a we have some interest in Georgia now. So Georgia's his second favorite team, he says, but he'll switch that in a week or two. But right now, Georgia's his second favorite team, and he's got in the car yesterday. He goes, "I'm not sure who to pull for, Dad." He goes, I want UT to win, but Georgia's my second favorite team." He goes, "I'm not sure what to do." It's going to be a great game. But let me get back to this Pray Drive thing. We got to get off this. Yeah, that's probably true. Bandwagoners are bandwagoners. They're gonna pull for anybody. There's always bandwagon fans. But here's the part about Pray Drive that Coach Burt doesn't talk about because it probably doesn't sell a book. It may be in his book on Pray Drive. I hadn't read it, and it may be in the book. But the reason Pray Drive works when you have absolute Pray Drive, you don't mind dying. When you throw the ball out in the street for a dog with Pray Drive, the dog doesn't care if he's going to die getting hit by a car. He's not thinking about the consequences of his actions other than going to get the ball. He knows there's a target, there's something I've got to go get, and I'm going to get it regardless of the circumstances. When the lion wakes up in the morning with Pray Drive, the lion he doesn't care about the consequences of his day. He knows he's got something to go get, and he's going to go get it in spite of the circumstances, in spite of how he feels, in spite of the elephants, in spite of the other things out there that are trying to get him. in spite of all the fear of dying, in spite of the possibility of death, because obviously for a lion in the Sahara, the possibility of death is always present. That's when prey drive really gets strong, is when you'll die trying. That's when prey drive is activated. That's when it really is truly going. Is when you'll die trying. You'll die going after that thing. That's prey drive. That is taking your why and making it be bigger than you. Anthony mentioned, you remember your why. Rudy Rudiger remembered his why. His why was his dad. What's your why? We talked about that. What do you do when you want to quit? What do you do when you want to stop? Carrie said cry earlier. I'm not saying a good cry is not worth it. Sometimes there are situations, Carrie, when all we can do is cry. You just can't stop there. Sometimes a lion has to lick their wounds, because sometimes when they go after the gazelle, they get chewed up by some hyenas who are going after the same gazelle. Sometimes when the lion goes after the gazelle, they have to fight other lions for that same gazelle. So sometimes the lion goes back to the den and starts licking his wounds. Rudy Rudiger came back, and he was in the janitor's office with the janitor and beat up and battered and bruised, and he licked his wounds for a little bit. There's sometimes, y'all, when we got to sit and lick our wounds, and there's sometimes we get beat up, we have things said to us, we get called names, we get hung up on, we have friends that list with other people, we have buyers that we show properties to, they go find another house with another buyer. There's sometimes when we're told no, we're hung up on, y'all. It happens to all of us. And there's sometimes it's time for you to lick your wounds. There is a season for you to sit and lick your wounds and heal a little bit. You just can't quit. You just can't stop. You just got to get up the next day. Remember your why. Understand why you do what you do. Have the picture of that person. Have the picture of that whatever. That thing that you got in your corner. Your Kristen Ritchie said, lean on your accountability people to lift you up. Sometimes you just need a little push from somebody on the outside. That's why everybody needs a coach in their life. Because I promise you, there are. Yep, yep, yep. Kristen said, just like the group text she sent when her feelings were hurt. Y'all, I promise you, in for all of us, all 10 of you watching right now, 11 of you watching right now, for those of you that are going to watch this after a while, for those of you that may watch this a month from now, I will tell you right now, if you're in or around the real estate business, your feelings matter. Some of you that are police officers or nurses, Kristen Ritchie sees things, y'all, that being an ER nurse for as long as she's been an ER nurse, she's seen some stuff. And I would say there's probably some nights where she has emotionally had enough. We're in that 12-hour shift, and about 8 hours in, knowing she's got 4 more hours left to go, she has just about seen enough that any one person needs to see in one day. She has seen more hurt. She has dealt with more people's pain. She has seen death up front, close and personal. Kristen Ritchie has learned how to understand and look at that thing, look at death in the face, and then keep going anyway. So for her, because I'm so glad, Kristen, that you jumped on here and you said that, because in that lane, Kristen's probably a beast. When you've been an ER nurse as long as she's been an ER nurse, you're a beast. And when she gets in that mode, she's in beast mode. I promise y'all. She's probably a machine over there. But being in the real estate world, that's a different set of feelings. That's a whole different set of things, whole different bucket of feelings over here. And so she has to tap into other things on this side of the fence as a real estate agent that she can't tap into when she's a nurse. So these are all new feelings for her. So when she said that, she got her feelings hurt. Kristen Ritchie wouldn't get her feelings hurt most occasions, but she's dealing with a bunch of new feelings over here. So thank y'all for jumping in there and helping her and lifting her up. But that's why everybody needs a coach. Everybody needs somebody on the outside to speak life into them. Everybody needs somebody in their life to speak life into them. Everybody needs a coach who tells them, "You're skating like a you know what today." Everybody needs a coach in their life that says, "You're not giving it everything you've got today. You've got to give me some more." Everybody needs somebody in their life that says to them, "This you're not giving enough. You're not doing enough. You're not performing to your level of excellence. You're not where you ought to be." Everybody needs somebody in their life that says that to them. Everyone needs someone in their life who's able to push them, nudge them, accountability them, embarrass them. Yeah, hang on a second. Everybody needs someone in their life that helps them through these hard times. I said it yesterday. There's never been a winter, unless you're a dinosaur. And I don't think any dinosaurs are on this call this morning. But there's never been a winter that wasn't followed up with a spring. There's never been a dark night that wasn't followed up with a dawn. There's never been a sunset that's not been followed by a sunrise. There's never been a challenge ever on this planet, I promise you. There is never, ever, not one time, not 1 second, not one time where there's been a challenge on this planet that didn't have with it an equal opportunity. There's never been a death on this planet where there's not been life sprung up from that death. That's the way nature works. That's the way this planet operates. If something is a challenge, there is an equal or better opportunity just right there beside it. Sometimes you just got to change what you look at. Sometimes you got to shine a light in a different direction. Sometimes you have to have somebody beside you that says, "Hey, did you think about this?" And then when you look at that this, you say, "Oh my gosh, that's perfect." What do you do when you want to quit? I'm okay. I think it's perfectly healthy to want to cry for a second. I think it's perfectly healthy to lick your paws for a second. I think it's perfectly healthy to assess where you are in that moment and feel if you want to feel bad, feel bad. Take some time for yourself. My challenge to you is sorry, Jagger's you go ahead, bud. He's opening Cheerios, sorry. But take some time for yourself, but then don't stop right there. Pick yourself up, put your shoes back on, lace up your boots, whatever analogy that you want to use, and get your butt up off the canvas. Go sit in the corner. Let some cold water get splashed in your face, but get your butt up off the canvas. Keep going. Keep going. The world needs you at your best. But for every wonderful thing that's happening, there's something bad that's trying to stop it. Because in this world, if everybody was doing great and everybody was rocking and rolling and everybody was doing perfectly, then it wouldn't be the fun life it is. But what makes this life fantastic, what makes our story so good is when you're in that bathroom in the subway with your kid, not knowing what you're gonna do, not knowing what's gonna happen. You get up the next morning, you take you a bath in the sink, you give your kid a kiss on the cheek and get him to daycare, and then you go chase that freaking ball. You go get after that doggone gazelle, and you don't quit until you got it in your mouth. And then sometimes when you get it in your mouth, you're gonna have to fight other lions. Sometimes when you get it in your mouth, there are other things that are coming to rob, steal, and destroy. That makes life fun. That makes the story better. Nobody likes a story when there ain't no challenges. Nobody likes a story when there's not anything that's happening bad. And nobody likes a story when you just walk on unscathed through this deal. Nobody likes those stories. Nobody pays money for those stories. Remember, Anthony said it a little bit ago. You got to remember your why. See your kids' faces. Think about the promise you made to yourself. Think about what you said you'd never do, what you'd never be, what you'd always be, what you'd always do. Think about your why. Make your why, make the reason you do what you do bigger than any excuse to stop. Make your why bigger than any excuse to quit. It's gonna suck. It's gonna hurt. Embrace it. That's why we got these. It's gonna suck and it's gonna hurt. I promise you, you're not going through this life unscathed. You're not getting through this deal without getting hurt. You're not gonna get through this thing without getting punched in the mouth. But I want you to understand, I want you to know I'm right here for any one of you who need me. Christy is right here for any of one of you who need her. You are there for each other at any moment you need each other. Y'all are there for each other. I'm just begging you not to quit. Don't quit. Don't stop. Keep going. The sunrise is going to come up. It's going to happen. The sunrise is going to come up. The spring is going to come. Keep doing what you're doing, even when you feel like nothing is going right. Keep doing it. Keep going. Keep pushing. I'm telling y'all, an issue, a problem in the real estate industry for a bunch of folks is you quit too soon. You quit too fast. I'm not sure. Some of you have never had this, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to get off here. Real estate agents as a whole are a real funny bunch of people. Do y'all remember we were driving to the lodge? We're sitting in the back of the car with a bunch of brand new agents. Now, agents who just came to us. Some of those agents, some of those mentees came from other walks of life. Some of them came from other jobs. Some of them came from whatever. And we have mentors in the van who've been doing this for a minute. And the overriding theme of that day was we don't time block well. We don't schedule our days well. We don't structure our days very well. So as a whole, real estate agents are a scattered bunch of people. As a whole, as an industry, most real estate agents, the lion's share of real estate agents or realtors are very scattered. We live our lives according to other people's schedules. So if this client calls, even though we had this scheduled, we're going to go deal with this client. If we have this scheduled, here's a fire over here that started, we got to go jump on that fire. We will, in the middle of a conversation, we get a text message, we'll start texting the person that's texting us, even though we're in a conversation with a person. Real estate agents are a very scattered bunch. Emotionally, real estate agents as an industry are a very scattered bunch. That's why realtors change brokerages every 2 to 4 years. They'll change a brokerage. They're a very scattered bunch. I'm trying to think how I want to say this, and I don't even know if it's worth saying. Well, I can't pull it together, so it's not clicking. So I'm just gonna leave that. The point that I was gonna make, I've lost, so I'm just gonna let that go. Just understand that, and I'll leave you with this. Understand the nature of this business lends itself, almost promotes being scattered. It promotes living haphazard. It promotes you living your day at the whims and desires of other people. That's sometimes the nature of this business. You're not order takers. You don't work 8 to 5 and punch a clock and you only do 15, 20, however many widgets are required in that 8 or 9 hour period. Most of us work till we get done that last phone call. We get done with that last thing. Typically we live our lives on other people's whims. So us trying to schedule things can sometimes be very, very difficult. Um, I know that it's hard sometimes for you guys to get your days scheduled, get your days structured, get that this piece of your life structured. And maybe that's where maybe that was what the connection was. Is that makes these hard times harder? Is when you don't have any structure to go back to. When you don't have any structure that you can get to. When you're, you know, let me say this: you get to an office. For you Exit Realty Lake Country agents, we have 5 offices. We have 5 offices open in Georgia right now. We have one in Tennessee open right now. Get to an office. If you're struggling with something, if you're struggling, Connie, the last thing y'all need to do when you're struggling is to be alone. The last thing you need to do when you're having some moments of puzzlement, when you're trying to find that next stone, when you're hoping that lily pad's there, but you're not sure it is, when you're questioning why you did what you did or how you should do what you do and or which the next direction you should go, get to an office, call somebody. Don't be a loner. You can't get through this life alone. You can't get through this life alone. Sometimes you need to wrap your arms around somebody and hug them. And sometimes somebody needs to wrap their arms around you and hug you. Get to an office. Okay? Get to an office. Get with your people. Get that conversation started. Get that funk out. Get that light in. The sunrise comes in the morning. Good morning, Alex. Go to Madison. Hell, Greensboro, Hartwell. Turn the lights on. Turn the music on. Turn the TV on. Go to Brazelton. Flick the lights on. Do a dance. Do something. Get to an office. Get around other people. Make it happen. Don't quit. Chase that ball. What do you do when you keep going? Make your why bigger than the excuses to quit. Brazelton today at 9. You're going to be today at 9 in Brazelton. There'll be a group there. If you're in Tennessee, you happen to be in Nashville, I'll be in the office today. If you're in Hartwell, I don't know if you may be in Hartwell or not. Go by Hartwell. Turn it on. It's easy to get in. Turn the lights on. Do something. Stop being at home. There's no reason to be at home anymore. There's no reason to be secluded from people that are going to help you get better anymore. All right, I got to get off this thing. I got to get to White House. I love y'all. Again, tomorrow morning will not be a call unless Christy does one. I'll be on a flight at 6:15. So y'all, she'll let you know whether or not she's going to be on the call or not. Friday morning, Jagger's got a game at 8, which means we're at the rink at 7. There's a possibility because I think Detroit's in Central Time, so there's a possibility I can do one on Friday morning. But I'll let you guys know about Thursday afternoon. Today, be good. Get your butt up. Get your butt out. Get to that thing. Chase that ball. Chase that gazelle. Find that next stone. I promise you it's there. This day is your day. It's the 19th of October. There's not going to be another one. Today's your day. Go make the most of it. Be great today. Do something fantastic today. Give something today. Y'all, I bought a teacher. I was getting gas. I was on the way to get Jagger, and I stopped to get gas. And I saw this lady walk in, and she had a teacher badge on. And this is something so stupid and small, but it made her day. She walked up and she was going to buy an Arizona tea or an energy drink or something. But I'd seen her badge walking through the store, and she walked up to the counter. And she looked familiar. I'd seen her someplace before. But she walked up to the counter. She was going to buy her Arizona tea, a big giant. She must have had a rough day. She had one of those big 64-ounce Arizona tea things like that, like drinking it like that. And all she had was a 20. And he said it's $1.05. And she goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. All I have is a 20." And I said, "Are you a teacher?" And she said, "Yes." I said, "Don't worry about it. I got it." So I just put it on mine. I was getting my snacks for the road. And and she almost had tears in her eyes. She goes, "Oh my God, this never happens to me. Do something great today. Even something small like that. You make somebody else's day." She'll talk about that. She'll go home and tell her friends about that. It's a freaking can of tea. Do something great today. But best of all, be you today. Be the best version of you today. I love y'all. Be good, be great, be you. Bye, y'all.